my name's Shelby Amancio, and this is my video presentation for Ed 285 on my elemental lesson plan. And so the first question, why did you choose to teach this lesson? Well, the purpose of my lesson is for my students to begin to memorize both the scientific and common name of plants. When students see plants, they'll be able to know their name and be able to identify them. So why plants? Well, plants hold a primary place in the world of living organisms because of their ability to make their own food in photosynthesis. So plants not only feed themselves, but they're also food for herbivores and then indirectly carnivores. And they also produce oxygen as a byproduct in photosynthesis. And in many ways, plants are able to determine the numbers and the kinds of organisms that can live and thrive in an area. In addition to food, they provide protection from the elements, nesting sites, they're a home to small creatures, and they're also a host to many others. And for humans, plants are important because they are a source of food, housing, clothing, and medicine. And plants hold our soil in place, they replenish the air that we breathe, they're pleasing to our senses, and they also cool our atmosphere. And so, of course, there's much more to knowing about plants than just knowing their name. But proper identification of plants is important, and that is the focus of this lesson. So the objective in the lesson is for the students to start to build a study guide. And that will help them to properly identify 12 native Hawaiian plants. And so question number 2, what is it about this lesson that students will be stoked about? Well, I require my students to be able to identify 100 plants by the end of the semester. So in this lesson, they start to build their study guide that will be their resource for our class quizzes and tests. And so I think that they will be stoked about creating something that will help them earn points during the semester. And I decided to start our plant identifications with native plants because we have many of these plants located throughout our campus. And so I think that the students will see these plants during the day and they'll now know what they are. And I think that that will give them a sense of accomplishment. And so question number 3, what is it about this lesson that connects with students? Well, as the teacher at the beginning of the semester, I pass out an interest survey for the students to fill out. And many of them responded that they wanted to be able to grow plants in the greenhouse and that they go hiking during their free time. And so this lesson uses 12 plants that have been grown in our greenhouse, and they're also found on many trails on Oahu. So I know that my students will be able to identify some of these plants when they are out hiking or when they, pass by outdoor landscapes. And the next question, number 4, how are you going to keep the student focus on the mission? Well, in the lesson, I go over the first 2 examples on an overhead projector for the class to follow along. So together we fill out the study guide information for the first 2 plants. And then I clearly tell them that they have 40 minutes for the remaining plants 3 through 12. And so that breaks down to about 4 minutes per plant. And I give them a 20-minute warning, 10-minute, 5-minute, 1 minute to help them stay focused and to stay on task. Number 5, how will you know when your students have learned? Well, I'll know that the students have learned when they're able to identify plants on quizzes and tests. And also this semester we have many activities both in the greenhouse and out in the field that will require a student to know a plant by name. So I'll be able to assess during these activities if they've learned the proper plant identifications or not. And number 6, what are some challenges you foresee in teaching this lesson? Well, I would imagine that they might start talking too much or not properly manage their time, as well as making silly mistakes, like let's say it's plant number 5 information, but they write it on space number 6 in their study guide because they're just distracted. So those are some challenges that I foresee However, I really think that the students will be motivated to focus and to do well on this assignment because it benefits them. It's building a resource for them that they'll be able to use throughout the semester. Thank you.